really would enjoy that basketball game. You're in the coaches. Move on to the next one. It was a gut check win for us, obviously. We've had teams that have more experienced teams than our NCAA tournaments teams that have been in that situation, and you fight hard, the game goes into overtime, they hit a shot like Alford hit, and mentally guys weren't able to recover. Tonight, we recovered twice overtime, and it speaks a lot for Andrew's leadership out there, and these guys playing above their age, older than their age tonight. So there were so many heroes in this game. I was just very, very happy to see us win it as a team, stay in it mentally, and now we have to move on to the next one.
What was going through your head after Bryce was going up for that second three-pointer?
We were supposed to switch on that one. We didn't. And that's what I was thinking, pretty much.
I know every year we bring up that scenario, where, fouling up three.
First time, it was probably 8 seconds when he went to take the shot, and we feel that's a little too early. If it gets down to about 6, that's when we'll do it. The second time, it was the switch. We switched to even foul to do that. And the third time, we executed it the way we wanted to execute it, which was foul.
Any thought that there was going to be a flagrant called on Baby Boy at the end there with that? It was almost like a tackle.
If they would have called it, I probably would have been ejected at that point. Be my first ejection.
And basically just a day earlier, you sort of said that you thought that the refs were loosening up on the fouls and whatnot, but it didn't seem like it tonight.
Well, it's conference. And just like we have dress rehearsal, I mean, we want to be on point every game. It's conference, you got to turn it up, and I'm sure the officials talk about the same thing. It's conference play. We want to make sure we call this the way we had talked about before the season, and it obviously was called a little tighter. But again, it's difficult for those officials with the way that they're being mandated to call this. It's difficult for them. It's not an easy job.
Are they going to lighten up, or is this what we can expect all year?
I don't know. I don't know.
That being said, is there something that you can take from because the Texas game is obviously the other one that seems to be the one where all the fouls were called, and you guys won tight games in both of those. Is there something that you maybe can take from those experiences? I
don't think so. I think, there were very few what we would call silly fouls that we had. Those were fouls we were getting called on, a lot of them. We were trying to make the right play. And I thought Texas, we had more fouls where there was a lack of concentration. We weren't moving our feet. But if they're going to call it for both teams, that's how the game is played. No one has an advantage. Then that's so be it.
Did you feel like that's what happened tonight?
You as a coach, you're thinking of all the ones that you think maybe could have gone the other way, and you got to remember there's another coach over there, their coaching staff, they got a handful of them too that are thinking the same thing. So that's just kind of how it goes. And that's why we talked to our team after the Santa Barbara game about take care of business early, because if you don't, you're at the mercy of the ball bouncing off your foot, tipping the ball in your own basket, and officials call, you're at the mercy of that. So you can't snivel about those type things.
Lorenzo, I apologize if you already asked this, but every game for this team is a learning experience because they are so young. When you lose on Monday and then have a game like this, what do you learn about? What does this game tell you about these kids?
Well, it's great. Well, our resiliency and courage is at a high level. But what we learned, I think, we can go back and point to this when we practice tomorrow. Look what happens when we focus. And I thought we had great focus defensively in the first half. And quite a bit in the second half. We got in foul trouble, but I thought we had good. That team's hard to guard. I thought our team did a good job. They were shooting 30% in the first half, and I think you can point to that and say it's unfortunate that we dropped a couple because we didn't have as much of focus. But we had it tonight. We had it last night. That's what it looks like. So we can point that out.
How did you guys find success against their zone? Because early on, it was really tough tonight.
I just thought we did what we've been talking about. DeJounte was sensational against the zone. He was either penetrating and scoring, or he was passing. And then Andrew was hitting shots, and David Crisp hit a few shots. Guys, Matisse Tybel hit some big shots, and that usually helps against any defense if you can make shots, and we made more shots, but they were the right kind. Early on, we took a few threes that we just talked about the last few days we don't want to take. But after that, our guys settled down pretty good, and I thought we took pretty good shots.
And the game from Andrew, I mean, says what about him?
I'm the captain of this team, and I am experienced. I've been through this before. This is how you do it. I thought he went out and showed us. Even in the second overtime, he hits the big shot, then he gets the steal. I mean, he really led in a great way.
How did you manage or what was the goal, I guess, trying to manage not having any post players this final two overtimes, aside from Devenir?
Well, our length is always good. Matisse Tybel went in there and was at a height disadvantage, but yet, because of his length, he was able to get rebounds down the stretch. He was able to deflect passes. We were smaller, but we were quicker when those guys were in there, so we were able to get in there and help each other out a lot.
Do you think this is a game for Matisse, especially his play down the stretch on both ends of the floor? Do you think this could be something that really springboards him into being the kind of guy that you think he's capable of being?
Well, hopefully, this, again, I'm always telling you guys, you've been around me before, I repeat myself in some of these situations, but it's very interesting that Malik Dime is really starting to play right now, but he's junior college transfer. And he usually takes those guys till around conference to start playing. And freshmen around conference is when they start doing it. So we'll see. We'll see if this is something, if it's that time where the guys really start to pick it up and start to improve their play.
You talk about Marquise a little bit. He seems like, he's up and down and foul trouble and not.
I thought he was up tonight. I thought in the first half he came out and rebounded the ball. I thought he was playing with great aggressiveness. The shot didn't go down for him, but I liked his approach. If his approach is like that all the time, he'll be much better than not on most nights.
Andrews picked up his second foul about 3 minutes into the first half. He finished the game with 3. Did you ask him to back off?
Didn't have to. Andrew's smart. Again, he's been around and he was experienced enough. He picked up the last foul, I think, near the end of the first half. Bolden was driving to the basket and they called it. But he just played smart and didn't. And then we took him off of Alfred in the second half, so it wouldn't be so easy for him to pick that up.
For the first 3 quarters of the game, what was the key against Alfred and slowing him down?
I just think we didn't let him get away from us. Alfred is a master at reading screens and making you lean one way and coming out the other way, and I thought our guys did a good job of staying close to him so he couldn't gain separation much.
After a big win like this, how do you make sure that you don't let emotions get too high as you prepare for another game turn on Sunday?
If we were undefeated, maybe that'd be an issue. We're not undefeated. In league we are, but we've dropped a couple games that we'd like to have back, so we've had that experience. And you talk about learning from past experience. Hopefully we've learned from those, not to come back Sunday. But I don't think there's anyone in this conference we can go in thinking we're going to win the game by walking in.
Lorenzo, you talked a little bit, especially I think on signing day, about Noah and just because his winning mentality and having done that at the lower levels. What was it about today's play that allowed him to make some winning plays for you despite going 0 for 6 and 0 for from the free throw line?
That's it. Winners don't sulk if it's not going their way. Losers do that. Not going their way, they check out. Noah's a winner, and he wasn't scoring, he wasn't making his free throws, yet he has 10 rebounds, and I thought did a masterful job guarding Tony Parker when he was in there on the floor. So that's why he wins. He finds a way, even if the ball's not going to the basket, to try to help you in other areas, and he did that tonight.
Lorenzo, on either of Bryce's threes, the one at regulation, the first overtime, was there a foul on him, not letting him get
That's the one we talked about earlier. He shot the first one, we thought a little bit early before we would foul, and then the second one we were supposed to switch, and we didn't switch on that one to foul. But we fouled him on the third one.
So did you want the foul on the second one if you had switched, or was that still going to be early?
No, it would have been a foul.
Okay.
Yeah, but we didn't get there.
With Malik fouling out and Noah fouling out,